Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Maker Mornings with Meg. I'm Meg from LovenStamps, and we're here for card making. So I actually have kind of a treat for you. It is the last day of Sale-A-Bration, so the last day for getting things out of this little booklet as your cool freebies. And I have a huge basket, whoops, pull the cords there, a huge basket of cards that I'm going to show you when we get to the end of our video, in case you just needed one extra little inspiration to help bump you over the edge on one of those stamp sets. Or if you have one of those stamp sets or one of those papers already and you're looking for ideas on how to use it, I really want you to be able to use what you've got. So I have some fun ideas there for you also. All right, I'm gonna jump over here, make sure we're good. I think we are. Leave me a comment, say hi if you're watching this morning. It is Tuesday, so it's kind of like the Monday of the Maker Mornings with Meg world. But like I said, it's the last day of February, so you do not want to miss out. One of the stamp sets we're gonna feature today is Sending Support, which is a beautiful stamp set for all kinds of difficult occasions for which sometimes it's just hard to find the right greeting. So if you haven't added this one to your collection yet, let me get really close there so you can, okay, camera focus. Well, we'll see, maybe the camera won't focus. I'll show it to you on our other camera. If you haven't added this to your collection yet, it might be one to consider, especially if you find yourself at a loss for exactly knowing what to say sometimes. This is a really handy one. All right. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Trish. Hey, Carol. Oh, yes, snowy Connecticut. Yeah, depending on where you are in the world, your weather may vary as we go. So we're not too bad here. I think it's about 40, 41 Fahrenheit. But let me go ahead and flip our camera down. I am going to show you this card today with a sea turtle stamp set. We're going to do a bunch of collage stamping, and I'll give you some tips for this. This is a special stamp set because as you can see, there's some weird gray images on the cover there. That's because this is a reversible set. And so there's some features about this that you're going to want to know to get the best results, but it is a gorgeous set and can be used in lots of different ways. So, all right, we're gonna bring our other camera over here and switch you guys down. There we go. All right, so like I said, our sea turtle stamp set and Sending Comfort. And you can see I kind of have these mounted already, so we're going to talk about that. But for our card base, we are going to start here with a piece of Coastal Cabana cardstock. It is 4 1/4 by 11. Remember, you always want to score in the center with a scoring tool. Hey, Lane. Hey, Tanya. With a scoring tool because you don't want the cardstock fibers at this edge to crack, which they will if you just try to fold it without scoring. So remember to use that. All right, so card base, that's pretty easy. Now we have 3 different rectangles. Let me get them all settled here so you can kind of see. The largest one is 4 inches by 5.5 inches. I'm holding them sideways so you can see that shadow line. And that is going to be our inside card layer. Okay, so we'll set that aside. And then I have these 2 pieces here, which are meant to layer with each other. So the largest of them is 4 1/4 by 3 3/4, and then the smaller one is just 1/4 inch less than that, so it'd be 4 inches by 3.5. And then this piece is going to layer on top. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and making the most of that layer too with our collage stamping. So let's go ahead and bring in this layer here. We're going to set aside the background layer, and we're going to bring in this front one here that we're going to do our stamping on. Hi, Shirley. All right, so I have a piece of scrap paper because when we do our collage stamping, we're going to cover a lot of area. And so I'm going to do a lot of stamping off the edges of our paper. So let's start off. When I do my collage stamping, I am actually going to start kind of opposite. Usually I start with the smallest, no, I don't. I always start with the biggest stamps. What am I thinking? We're not reverse. We're doing it full on the way I usually do. What I like to do is use the largest stamps first because that's how I know that they're going to fit on there. And I'm going to kind of add some background to our area. So I have Coastal Cabana here and this sort of sea foamy kind of image here from our set. And I'm going to ink it up. When you have a large stamp, just march it across that pad and then stamp on here. Now, I'm going to go kind of off to one side, and to make sure that I get a really good image, I'm just going to pick this up since it's going to stick to my photopolymer stamp anyway, and just make sure that I get that pressed all on the background. Hey Kelly, hey Sue. Then I'm gonna take this, and so that I don't have too much repetition, I'm gonna flip it over and stamp again down here. And again, you can see right here that this part of the image didn't stamp completely. This one did, but this one didn't. So again, I'm gonna pick it up and just smush it from the backside. That's the technical term, smush from the backside, to make sure that I get the image all the way across there. All right, now, this is a card or a stamp set for which you're gonna wanna have your chamois handy, because you're going to just clean that off, peel that stamp off, and pop it on the back upside down. And you'll notice this is a little different from most of the photopolymer stamps. See how closely it is cut on the backside? I think that it's probably a different pouring method for these stamps so that they don't get the spread, but that makes these reversible stamp sets are really great for doing with our flipping them over and getting backgrounds. So this stamp here, I'm gonna stamp off, and it is not symmetrical, so I'm not gonna worry about lining it up. But now I have a really pretty background, a soft background here, because I'm stamping off for our images that we've already put on. So again, smushing from the back side. All right, so you kind of see how we're started here. We have our largest images placed first, and then we're going to work smaller as we go. So our next image here, we're gonna actually switch gears and do our turtle. So another piece of basic white cardstock here, and he is gonna get stamped, or she, in Coastal Cabana. I'm not gonna worry too much about stamping off, but what I am gonna do, I wanna get a really solid image for this. I'm gonna go ahead and put my paper piercing pad underneath here because I wanna get a really good image. And when there's no foam on your stamp, such as with photopolymer, the best way to add some sort of foam to that equation to get a really nice image is to go ahead and add a pad. So there is our turtle background. And then I'm gonna flip him over. I had him mounted upside down to start with, to the other side, and I'm gonna take Starry Sky, which is one of the returning in color. So this is one of the ones that you don't have to worry, it's gonna be around for another catalog. It won't disappear in April or May, or in April with all the retiring colors. And then I'm gonna line this up. Now, you can do, doesn't matter which one of these you do first. I find sometimes it's easier to have the background outline first so that I can slide this guy inside and I can see the edges best. But whatever works best for you will of course do the job. So this is where stamping can be adaptable to whatever you find is the technique that works best for you. And then I'm gonna do a real quick fussy cut with this. I'm just gonna use my paper snips. A reminder, like this is your midwinter reminder to see if your paper snips are sharp. You can take them someplace to get them sharpened. Lots of times fabric shops will do scissor sharpening, or Google and see if there's someone in your area. But it makes a big difference to have sharp scissors, or they're not very expensive. So you could just consider adding an extra pair for when you have something really finicky and you have a new pair that you use preferably. So a word about sharpening: when you sharpen them, they won't close at the very tip anymore, but honestly it doesn't bother me because I never cut to the tip of my scissors anyway. It's a nice way to rip your cardstock, so I avoid that. All right, so now we have our turtle. We wanted this because this is going to help us place our other items, okay? So I'm gonna eventually stick this down over the top, and we're going to now fill in some of our background. So I have our little turtle here. He's very cute. So we're gonna add some little turtles, and I'm gonna put one, we'll have one kind of swimming after up here. I'm gonna switch and put our, okay. So here's the trick: when you wanna use your mat and you want it to not get stamped on, just pop it underneath your paper. So here you can see that I have that under there. So now I can stamp on here and get my images. I'm gonna put another turtle down here. So we have those. I'm gonna clean that off really fast and flip it to the back side. And I'm not gonna worry too much about stamping off because that blue is so strong. And I'm gonna add the background for our turtles there. Okay, so now I have our turtley backgrounds, and then I'm going to fill in some of these white spaces here. So you want to, when you're doing collage stamping, you want to fill in some of those white spaces, but you want to leave some of them a little open. So I'm going to pop one here. I'm going to pop one down here. And you know what? Maybe that's good. Maybe I'll leave this a little bit open here at the bottom for our other piece. All right. So we'll clean off our fishies. They don't need backgrounds, although you could add them. And then I have our last, and I wanted to bring in another color. And I will tell you, for this project, I wanted to use some of the Enjoy the Journey Designer Series paper, which, to refresh your memory, is this one here that has, we used it for a couple of cards here earlier during Maker Mornings with Meg. It has those mountain scenes and tree scenes and stuff. And this is one of the added Sale-A-Bration items. So it's not in this little mini here, but it is on the expanded list of things that you can choose for free. So make sure you check the link in the video description to find all of those. Hey, Margie. So I wanted to use these little strips here because at the time that I designed this card, I didn't have the By the Bay paper, which I'll show you in a minute. But these colors worked really well. And so I wanted to pull in this garden green a little bit. So perfectly, we have this little seaweed image here from our stamp set. So I've got our garden green ink pad, and I'm gonna go ahead and add some garden green seaweed here to our card. So like I said, I wanna fill in some of the space, but not all of it. And we're gonna do, let's see, we'll do one down here, okay? So you see how we still have some white space showing along the edges. Negative space is a really important thing to include in your project so that they aren't so visually overwhelming, okay? All right, so we have our background pretty well stamped here, and we're gonna add our turtle and layer this in a second. But while we're stamping, let's go ahead and grab our inside layer here, because of course you want to stamp inside your cards. And we're gonna go ahead and add some designs down here at the bottom. I've got some fish, they're nice and bold. I have this large starfish here, this one here, and I'm gonna ink him, and we'll stamp our large starfish there in Coastal Cabana. And then we have this cute teeny starfish, and I wanna echo that garden green color inside. So I've added that inside our card. So now we're gonna talk about our greetings. And I'm gonna take away my pad here because the greetings are, like I said, from the Sending Support stamp set. And we want to, one second, we wanna make sure that we don't have that foam pad there, because we don't want our foam to add too much instability to our stamping equation here. So there's plenty of foam right here, and I don't need to add more to that area. So I'm gonna go here, and on the front of our card, we're gonna go ahead and use the greetings, some days are harder than others. And then on the inside, we've got, you've got this, which could be used for lots and lots of occasions, just a card of support for, you know, there's, anytime you need to send support, it's a good choice. Now, you'll notice that I practiced on my, without even thinking about it, I practiced on my scratch paper. I do that because I like to make sure that my stamp is gonna go straight the way I expect it, and also to make sure that I'm not over stamping. When you have a font that's this tiny and this delicate, it can be really easy to overstamp and like catch edges or get smudgy letters. So you know what? That's what scratch paper is for. Practice, use it. So we've got the inside of our card, and we're gonna go ahead and attach this now inside our folded card base. Okay. So we've got that set there. And I'm gonna set that aside because we're gonna stamp our greeting. And you'll notice that I have a strip that is quite a bit larger than our greeting. And that is because sometimes I stamp, some days are harder than others. Could this not be the more perfect greeting for this occasion? Because sometimes you have to stamp it. The stamp should say, some days you have to stamp it more times than others, like this, where I'm getting them like way high and crooked. Okay, that one's all right, but a little overstamped. Fourth time is the charm? Oh yes, there we go. All right, so some days you have to stamp more times than others. Could be an alternate greeting choice. I might have to submit that to Stampin' Up. Sort of behind the scenes there. Okay, so we've got our greeting now. So bringing back our paper. Remember we talked about our layering, and I have this basic white layer here that's gonna go behind our element. And let me show you what this looks like kind of without it. So here we have our turtle and this outside stamped layer, and it looks really pretty. You could definitely do it this way. You could add a layer of starry sky around this, all kinds of different possibilities for that little extra layer to help set these two apart. But I'm gonna offer the possibility of a white layer because it sort of adds that layer, but it's not quite as harsh. And it just frames so nicely here, especially where we've stamped off the edges. And we have that real contrast showing between what we've stamped and our background layer. So sometimes look no further than your handy dandy basic white cardstock when you are doing your layering. It doesn't always have to be another color. Because one of the great things about the making your own backgrounds like this is that you can always make them in colors to match your stamping, because you can stamp in any color you want. And you can always make them in images to match whatever you're doing because you have the stamps. So, so think about, you know, making your own paper kind of like this is essentially what we're doing. Plus you can have it highlight just the elements that you want, right? So if this was just pre-printed paper, it might not have an opening perfect for our big sea turtle there. So kind of a nifty thing to have. So, all right, let's get this out of the way here. And we're gonna go ahead and work on attaching the rest of our pieces here. So I've got, let's see, Betty says, some days you have to stamp more than others set. Oh, my $1 million set. Yeah, that's actually really funny. Like the idea of a stamp set just for demonstrators, like, you know, I don't know, where did my scissors go? I just had them 2 seconds ago. What else would be in that stamp set? That would be really funny. I'm a little ways from my $1 million. Not too far, but working on it. So thank you for everybody who's helping me work towards that. All my stampers. The last couple of days, actually, we've had a lot of people getting in their last minute celebration orders. So that's kind of exciting to see. I'm glad that people are remembering that celebration's ending today. All right, and then I'm gonna go ahead and layer these two pieces of paper. I love within a designer series paper, you can mix and match patterns because the colors and textures are going to go splendidly together. All right, so now we have a space here for our turtle, and we're going to have this here. Okay, I'm gonna forget this idea, Betty, of the, oh, Sue's got one. I didn't close my ink pad. Yes, it could say, why didn't I close that extra ink pad, or why didn't I close the ink pad when I was done with it? Yes, oh my gosh, for sure. Oh, there's a whole host of problems that stampers have, right? That's so funny. We've had crafting stamps before, crafting sets that I've really enjoyed. They've been really pretty with paper, like pictures of paper on the paper and things like that. This one's kind of a different idea. All right, so I've got my edge piece, or my border piece here. So I love dimensionals and texture, so I've got these raised layers here. They add extra shadow. And then we're gonna go ahead and add to this. Betty says, why didn't the dimensionals have neon backing so we can find them? Yeah, that could be, yes. All these things, let's see, I have a billion ink pads open right now. So I'm like tempting fate, I think. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add some bling to this card. And the perfect bling for the Sea Turtle stamp set is the flat adhesive back pearls. Now, if you have not seen these in person, they are absolutely gorgeous. They are very pearly, pearlescent, and they come in 2 sizes. You get a number of these. This is half a package, by the way. Wait, is it half a package? No, it's a whole package. You get 80 of them in a package, and you see how these large ones are sized and then these small ones to go with them. And remember to open your packaging from the side, and then where is my take your pick tool? That could pretty much be a thing too. There we go. So I'm gonna do the slide and stick. So I'm sliding and sticking, and I'm gonna pop one down here, and I'm gonna pop another one down here in sort of this extra space. And remember, I really like to use my embellishments, my bling, to highlight this focal point of the card. So we've got this here, right here around our greeting, because this is where we really want everyone's focus to be. And with so much going on in our card, that really helps to sort of redirect people. Kelly said, how about my tape runner always runs out at the worst time? Oh my gosh, yes. Or like what? I swear I had 3 refills. Where did they go? Oh my gosh. Well, and of course, you guys know my favorite thing about the glue. If you can see it, it's enough. That was another one that would have to be in that stamp set. So I don't know how universal that is, but I like that one. So let's see. Vonda says that she loves the card and the sea turtles. Thanks, Vonda. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. And I promised you guys a whole series of Sale-A-Bration cards. I'm gonna close my ink pad since we've just had our own little reminder here about how sad it is when they're open and I drop my cards in them. Let's see. So I'm gonna get these closed. And now we're gonna go ahead and run through some of these Sale-A-Bration cards here because today is the last day. So if you don't know what Sale-A-Bration is, bless your heart. If you don't know what Sale-A-Bration is though, honestly, you're gonna wanna check this out. There's a link in the video description to Sale-A-Bration. For each $50 that you put in your shopping cart, you get to pick an element for free, a stamp set, a package of designer series paper, all those things. And they say right on here, free with $50 purchase. So these are the items. There are some extras that have been added. So if you go to the website, you'll see those. There are a couple of stamps or prizes, things you can earn here. They're free with $100 items. So Beautifully Happy is one. And then we're also going to look at some samples of the Dandy Designs 12 by 12 paper pack, which is a double pack. It's 48 sheets because I adore this paper and I will be sad to remove it from my life. And if you have a really large wish list, then you can earn this free host set with a qualifying order that you place all by yourself. So you don't actually have to host a party to have that if you have a large wish list. So let's take a look at some of these cards here. So here I have first our samples with that Enjoy the Journey paper. So you can see we've used it in the background and on the foreground here. And this is a Maker Mornings with Meg. I'm sorry I didn't look up the episode number, but you can find this on the Facebook page under videos or on YouTube under the Maker Mornings with Meg playlist. You'll see that pretty easily. Next one I have is this sweet folding card here. This one is one that I made using the farm paper, of which a day on the farm. It coordinates with a stamp and die set here that is in the mini catalog, the purple mini catalog that ends at the end of April. So this is a really fun one too. So neat card layout, and that is a Maker Mornings with Meg episode also. Here is another card from a Maker Mornings with Meg episode. This is featuring the designer series paper in the background, Favored Flowers. Here's another card by Faith Steinberg where Faith used it. This is the motorcycle paper. I can't remember what it's called, but this is motorcycle paper from the regular catalog. And then this die cut paper here, or this fussy cut paper here, is the same from this designer paper. Here is a card by Jennifer McLaughlin, where she also used that paper with that folder in the background. And a card by Karen Titus using that, again, the fussy cut paper here with layers. So that is a gorgeous paper set. Tammy Ackerson just used a whole piece of it here. And I actually just showed one like this, but with a special layering on the other Maker Mornings with Meg just the other day. This card is by Joyce Faracco. It has a fun opening center. This layer here, if you're trying to figure out how to make this is actually a separate piece of cardstock that she has attached there. So a really pretty simple card layout, but very pretty with a feature of that paper. And then if we're sticking with this paper here, this one is by Anna Masternak, and she used the greeting set, Sending Support, that we just used today, and then had sort of a paper floral collage here with these papers. So really pretty options with that paper. I'll be sad to see that one go. Then we had this is featuring the Dandy Designs paper and the Thanks a Bunch carrot set, which the refrain on this carrot set is, I didn't know I needed that carrot set until I saw your cards. So if this looks familiar, this was from a series that I did on that Thanks a Bunch carrot set. This is a Maker Mornings with Meg video, and actually I'm pretty sure so is this too. This one might have been from our catalog premiere night actually, but the carrot set is too much fun and I highly recommend it. Here's another card. This one is by Jennifer Cotton, and she layered this paper and so forth here. So a great way to layer the Dandy Designs paper here. This card is by Leanne Greff. Love that extra one little popped up carrot here. And these colors, right? These colors were just perfect for the carrots. I know that they intended those to go together. All right, and then switching gear, but staying with Dandy Designs, is the little owl set. So this card is by Sandy Rule, and it has this fun opening here. This is a great design. There's some cards on my blog with this kind of layout, so you can look for those at LovenStamps.com. And this card is by Amy Story. So again, these papers, these pretty designer papers, are all from that Dandy Designs, and then Stampin' Blend markers here to color the owl. I love her shading. It's beautiful. This is a card by Jody Reiner. She also did coloring on that cute owl. Then here's a card by Linda Bowen. She used that designer series paper in the background too. And then here's one that's just a little bit different flavor by Susan Elise Morton. And she used that Perched in a Tree was the name of the stamp set. I can't remember the name of the die set, but she used that as a background, which is a nice match for the owl theme. And then a Missy Shipman card, which is actually, Missy, this is my favorite. Sometimes she's watching. But she used these tiny little flowers. They're dimensional. There, can you kind of see them there? They're actually like little plastic flowers. And she made a little wreath for our owl friend to carry. And then she did some sponging in the background with the cloud template. So a really fun idea there too. These flowers, you can't add them to this order. They're on back order at the moment, but never fear, they will be back. So just keep an eye out for those, and you can add them to an order in March. This is Rayanne Luttrell's card, and I love her focal point. This card is my jam here with the open negative space and a focal point sort of at the bottom right. So, and a cute one with the owl where you don't have to worry too much about Stampin' Blends. Okay, so that owl set is going away also. Now here's one we did for Maker Mornings with Meg. This one features a stamp set and the sending support, and then also this, I can't remember what it's called, but it's in the main Sale-A-Bration mini where you don't have to color it. Here's another card by Janice Waitman, where you also do not have to color that. So a really nice way to use the beautiful image without worrying about coloring. If you want to color, here's a sample by Mel Lampert, and of course you can color those. So this is, like I said, Maker Mornings with Meg episode, so you can check that out. And this paper here is the Desert Details paper, which I've featured all during February, so don't miss that. Here is another feature. This is by Laura Bartow with the Dandy Designs paper. Here is one of the cards that I did. This features, I can't remember the name of this. I did this as a Maker Mornings with Meg video too, where we did the Stampin' Blends to feature on that rainbow. Covered with Sunshine, I think is the name of it. Here's another feature with this paper. This one is by Kim Kane, and a great way to just use strips of that. And then we're going to move on to Happy Thoughts. So this card is by Marnie Stahl. So super talented Loven samples demonstrator. And a card by Susan LaCroix. A card by, everybody likes these purple colors, I think here. Was definitely a color of the season. A card by Colleen Magnus. So you can see this pretty Happy Thoughts double stamps. This is by Ann Clemmer. And then I have one last one here by Evie DiPiazza. That featured, again, that designer series paper from Dandy Designs. So lots and lots of great ideas for all of these products that are about to disappear. Oh, and then I promised you the By the Bay paper. So I was going to show you one more. So the card that we did today is a pretty bright and happy version of the sea turtles. You can change up the sea turtles by stamping them in different colors. So here is one that is Night of Navy and Crumb Cake, I think, were the colors I used. And for this one, you can just see that it's got just sort of a different flavor to it. And then here's a card that I made with the By the Bay designer paper. And can you see right here, I think you'll be able to see that gold foil kind of glowing through there. And then I stamped on the designer series paper here. And then on the inside of our card, I added some extra little die cut elements. Those are from the By the Bay die set. And the paper for this is so pretty. So I'm gonna flip through it kind of fast here. But you can see maybe the pearl on some of these papers and the gold foil on others. There's the one that I used. They're just a gorgeous paper. So this would be a fun thing if you're thinking like, oh, that sea turtle, I didn't know that I liked it until Meg showed it to me today. Think about this paper too, because it just gives you a lot of great possibilities. And then of course the back sides are just as beautiful. So not foiled on the back, but you can look for, I love that wood grain one there. You can look for card layouts too, like ones I've showed you where you get to see your DSP on both the front and the back. So you're not missing out on any of those. But those are all of our cards for today. So that was like a whirlwind, right? All of the things for celebration that are ending, all of the ideas for our sea turtle card. But thank you guys for stamping with me this morning, and I hope that you are inspired to get out your stamps and find some projects to be working on, and also to kind of make the most of this last day. It's a good time to stock up on colors, get your prepaid paper pumpkin subscription, and if you don't know what that is, you can go to my website at LovenStamps.com for that kind of information. Let's see. Just a really fun time to kind of stock your stamping cupboard and get some stamps or paper or things like that for free as you go. So, all right, as always, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be back on Thursday with another Maker Mornings with Meg, and I look forward to seeing you guys then. So happy stamping, everyone. Thanks so much for watching this morning.